For the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Michelle, if you could call roll, please.
Everyone is here but Jillian.
Thank you. All right, Council, we have the minutes from June 22nd. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Oh, moved.
Jill motion, Kathy second. All in favor of approving minutes from June 22nd, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Is Leanna Purdue here tonight? Let's see her. All right, we're at public feedback. If anybody would like to come up and address council, please step over to the podium and just state your name and address, please. We turn that on.
Testing. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Beal. I live at 1950 South Old 3C Highway. As some of you may be aware, this month the zoning board approved language to be added into the planned commercial section of the zoning code, which is where my home is zoned as. And in March of this year, when we were interested in selling our home, I learned that the zoning code had been changed in 2021 and that the language allowing residential use in the planned commercial zone had been removed, and that could cause issues with a potential buyer securing financing for our home. I talked to a few different realtors and they all said the same thing. It's one of those things where it might work, or if anybody looks at this too closely, it's going to be a problem. So rather than potentially get into business with the buyer and then have it fall through, we just have postponed selling our home. I've lived in Galena since 2017 and I've loved living here, but we've outgrown this house and my work is taking me to Mount Vernon. So it would really be, it's really been a hindrance to us to not be able to sell our house in a reasonable amount of time. We've already really missed the peak summer selling time. So if we could get this change pushed through as quickly as possible, it's my understanding is this language is only adding back the language that was there pre-2021. So if we could get this finished as soon as possible, that would be a huge benefit to my family. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Zach, you led this for the zoning team. You want to comment on that?
Yes. So we would be adding 3 sentences. The first sentence basically is straight out of the 1995 revised in 01 zoning code that would just basically mention that we allow single family residences, with the added caveat of it's about pre-existing. So no new single family residences can be added. But for instance, if any of the house is currently right behind the square and the commercial strip there, so that includes the Coffee Vault, Galena Diner, Tony's, and Son of Thurman's. I almost said Mud Flats. If any of those burn down or have any type of problem, they would currently be completely incapable of rebuilding their house, as well as, since they're non-conforming uses, struggle to sell it because banks will not give loans for non-conforming properties. This will also apply to Ken's building, being, to my knowledge, the only one with what's currently classified as multifamily. Yeah. But I believe that is the only property currently in planned commercial that is has anything under the current designation of what would be considered multifamily. Okay. And then this will also be adding a line of text saying that any new building that is to be added to the planned commercial district for single family residents must be our current minimum standard, which is 1450 square feet. So if you've got any more questions, me and Michelle Parsons did an in-depth back and forth during the zoning meeting. So you can watch that meeting back.
This was taken up by the zoning team in the last couple of months. we had our open hearing, zoning passed this through to council. So part of the messaging here is in our next meeting, we will have an open hearing with council to discuss the situation. And then hopefully we can move that along. But you'll see that in the next agenda for the August 24th meeting. Any questions on that? No. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Anybody else want to come up forward? Okay. All right, I'll just make a brief statement. Tonight, I'm pretty excited where we're headed strategically as a village. We have two significant partnerships that we'll be discussing tonight. When we get there, we'll discuss them a bit more. But these are really first of a kind, groundbreaking kinds of things for the village as well as really countywide. So when we get there, we'll discuss those more. And with that, Pete, you have anything?
I do not.
Okay, administrative report, Tom.
Okay, I've given you my written copy of the report. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out with me. I have asked the village engineer to come tonight to give you an update on two important projects. One is the 2026 Miller Park Improvement Program, and Mr. Ruffner will speak on that. And the other is the 2026 Road Improvements Program. Both of these are very large capital projects that are in progress right now. And Mark, would you care to give a quick update?
Good evening, everyone. So I'll be pretty brief. The first one to talk about is the Miller Park Improvements Project. The main item there is the pavilion. As we speak, contracts are being prepared for 4 contractors for that. That includes plumbing, electric, general building, and HVAC. So Bricker is working on putting together contracts. As soon as those get finalized, we'll be getting contracts with those 4 contractors. We've been working with them on then getting schedules to try to keep construction moving forward. The first being plumbing rough-in. They are currently scheduled to start on August 10th. They're anticipating less than a week's worth of work, and that is we're hoping to immediately follow that up with electric. Again, should be a less than a week's worth of work for the rough-in, and that will be followed then by the slab, the concrete slab, and then the rest of the building general items that are to be done by JDM. And then finally, we'll be finishing up with the finish work for plumbing, electrical, and HVAC.
You mentioned the concrete slab. Do you have a contract going for that?
We're currently working on a change order for JDM to add concrete to their concrete or their contract.
I'm going to butt in here. The contractor that we had expected to give us a bid ended up in the hospital, and he was not able to get his bid in on time. So we are going to work through JDM and have them add concrete to their contract. And I'm hoping that they'll include the guy who's now out of the hospital as their sub.
What other project how do we know JDM? What other project have they done?
They did the Walnut Creek Bridge.
Oh, I love them. Absolutely love them. And their crews. Okay, great.
The goal is to try to get the work that's being done this year on the pavilion wrapped up by Thanksgiving. Understanding that's an aggressive goal at this point, but that's what we're working towards. And also,
Real quick again, I just want council to be reminded that this is a 3-year, 3-phased project. We're currently in phase 2, in year 2, and we're ahead of schedule on it. So I'm excited about what's going to happen in the next couple months.
I have seen the plan. And one thing that concerned me was remaining work that would not be done in 26. And there's a number of things on there that we can live with, a mantle, that type of thing. But I become concerned when we're not doing the painting before winter. The painting, windows, siding, and fascia.
I
We
think
wouldn't want raw wood no matter what quality of wood, would we? Without paint on it?
most of that wood, I believe, is protected from the elements, but unfortunately, I don't think you have the budget to do it all. And then the other issue is we're getting into winter. You don't really want to be painting, and at the end of things, at the end of
Sure.
November. Any other questions on the pavilion? So then the pickleball courts are another item that was proposed for this year. We've requested a design build qualifications twice now, and we've gotten no submittals. And what the contractors are indicating, they're not going to be able to complete work this year. So we're going to regroup on that and look at doing a design build contract that would allow design to happen over the winter and then work to start in the spring of 27.
When does the construction start on the gravity sewer line that's going to go through the park?
That is up to Romanelli's team. We have been working with EMH&T, their engineering firm for that, and we have the alignment approved.
So
Pretty much
they have been saying they're hoping to do it in October or November of this year. But that is subject to their schedule.
Say we're
Yeah,
We're
we're
getting
fast
close.
approaching that, right?
yeah. I guess my primary concern would be if the capital is being invested in the pickleball courts and then refacing the walk path around the park. From where I sit, it might be a little counterintuitive to put those improvements in the park, knowing that they potentially could be compromised by that sewer line, whether it
Yeah.
be equipment or whatever, right?
That's a
kind of
legitimate
investment that needs to
concern.
that needs to be protected, I think.
Yep.
So probably should be a part of the broader conversation when we're going to put those courts in and do all that work.
How is that, on that point, what's the current plan for where that sewer is going to run up through the park? Is it along the trail or
They're
where?
shifting it to the south side of the park. They've
Okay.
shifted that sewer. It's inside the trail, but it's kind of running parallel to the trail. They're basically intending that the south side of the trail is going to be destroyed with that project, and then they will be replacing the south side of the trail as part of their repair work that they do.
Yeah, I mean, I understand all that. I've also spent a lot of time around heavy equipment, and I know that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah,
In the same breath, right? Like,
that's true.
we hit whatever is in the ground, and we have to all of a sudden pivot. Now we're at the point where we're trying to use steel decking or whatever to protect that asphalt surface. I want the community to have it. I want them to be able to enjoy it. I do not want to pay for it twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like, that's
agree.
just
Yep.
that's just kind of being fiscally responsible there, I think.
Yeah, just to address that point, that's a really good concern. The idea was to not do anything where the sewer line is going to go because Romanelli and Hughes, as part of the installation of the sewer line, will be replacing the path on top of it. So yeah, we wouldn't do anything over there. And one of the reasons we wanted them to hug the south side of Miller Park was to stay out of the way of anything that was happening. But it's kind of a moot point now because our contracting community is not going to be able to deliver on the pickleball court this year. So we'll be in design this year and then next year be able to install that.
Ideally, we install pickleball courts and the remainder of the trail, or maybe the entire trail after the sewer line has been installed. Moving on to the street improvements. The main thing to report there is that we have proposals due tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We are anticipating 2 submittals. I actually reached out to both of them today, and they both indicated they're planning to submit for that. We'll be reviewing those and evaluating, and hope to have a selected bidder by the end of the week. And then they basically will move into a fairly short design phase and then construction.
And Mark, that's Home Street, correct?
That includes Home Street, yeah.
And
And there's a
Mark-
list of items that it includes, recognizing that they may not be able to do everything within the budget that we've given them. And so we've ranked those. They're providing prices. The village will then evaluate, okay, what do we want to do for the budget that we have?
Just the pricing include a concrete stop pad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm
They're-
assuming that one's ranked fairly high.
I believe both of those are ranked high, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's just my big concern too, is like, Tom, and I know you and I have talked offline about it. For me, that's a kind of a bright line, just in the fact that I think that there's some soil issues there, right? We've determined that. And then unfortunately, with the amount of growth that this part of Delaware County is seeing, we know that that's a major thoroughfare. I don't want to see that, investment, kind of slip through our fingers. Plus the other thing is too, with, the amount of small business owners that are on the square, I don't want to inconvenience them multiple times. If we're going to have to tear it up to put that concrete pad in there, knowing that that's a 15 to 20-year investment, I'd rather just buy once, cry once on that.
Yep. Any questions on the street improvements? All right, that's all I've got.
That's all I have as well.
Thank you, Tom. Kathy, you have something?
Yeah, when do we think we'll get started on the upgrades here at Village Hall? Kathy Moran's company.
So have good news on that. We finally have a complete set of stamped engineering plans. We've been trying to do that for 18 months, and we just submitted them late last week to the Delaware County Building Department for our building permit. So we have 3 contractors lined up, and we're reaching out to Bricker and Graydon to prepare contracts for those 3 contractors. And we have worked on that project until it meets our budget. So it got value engineered down, but I think we have a really good approach for a good price to correct the ADA deficiencies and also just improve the entrance in general.
I'll make a suggestion, Tom. You've got now a architectural drawing or a rendering of the change.
Yeah, it's their blueprints. Yeah, but
Could you
yes.
send that out to everybody?
Sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Thank you, Tom. Anything else, Kathy?
Good, thank you.
Okay. All right, Michelle, fiscal officer report.
Just real quick, all the quarterly reports were done. The estimated revenues and budget was, line was submitted to the Delaware County auditor. It's just the estimate of what we think we'll bring in. And then the finance committee met on July 14th, and they're going to be meeting again August 24th, right before the council meeting.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay, finance team, have you reviewed the invoices for July?
Yes.
Everything in order?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve the invoices for July?
I'll make the motion.
Pass. No, second.
Kathy,
No.
second.
I won't pass.
I'm gonna
Say
pass.
second.
Do we have a second?
Kathy seconded.
Oh, Kathy, second. All right, Michelle, when you're ready. I guess we'll just vote on this, right? Okay, all in favor of passing invoices for July, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, finance team, financial statements, same thing?
Yes.
We're good?
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to motion to approve financial statements?
I'll make the motion.
Zach, do we have a second?
A second.
Kathy, second. All in favor of approving financial statements, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, you have your zoning report in your package. We'll move on to business. Okay. Resolution number 2026-06, which was tabled in the last council meeting to July 27th tonight as an emergency. A resolution transferring funds in the amount of $25,000 from other contractual services, 5201-541-399, to salaries, administrative office, 5201-710-139, for operation certification and declaring an emergency. My recommendation, council, on this is we table it with no date. Okay? The reason being is we don't have yet, this is to move funds for certification in the wastewater plant, and we're not quite ready for that yet, I don't believe. So my recommendation would be to table it again. Anybody wants to make a motion or have a conversation on that?
Ken, we have to pull it off the table and then lay it back on the table, correct?
So putting it on the table, we'd have to call it back from the table on a vote.
Right.
So
I'll make the motion on table resolution 2026-06.
okay, Pete makes a motion.
And I'll second that.
Jill
Jill.
second. Michelle, when you're ready.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
and Mike.
Yes.
The resolution has been tabled. Resolution number 2026-07, which was tabled from our last council meeting
No.
until
No.
tonight.
Jeff,
we
gotta lay
just
it back on the
untabled
table. Yeah,
06.
it's untabled, so we got to put it back on
Oh,
the table.
okay.
But I'll help you. I'll make the motion to table
To bring
resolution
it back?
2026-06. No, we took it off the table. We got to put
Oh,
it
I
back
see.
on. Yep.
Good. We're back to tabling and bringing it off the table.
Mhm.
Ken, we're doing that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Took it off the table. And then
Pete made the motion to bring it off the table.
Yeah.
Can I have 1 second?
Yeah.
Tabling was not correct, but it should have been.
I'm confused because it's a two-toe. We didn't. Okay, so we're still back here. That's what I was, right, that's what I was.
So, hang on. So, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong here, all right? The proper way of tabling something, it goes on the table and you don't put a date on it. When you put a date, you're really postponing something. My discussion with Ken was because we tabled it to tonight, it's essentially off the table because it's presented back to us tonight. And Ken.
And I concur. I concur. That's correct.
Retable?
So we're good with that. We've distinguished that one. Okay, resolution number 2026-07, which was tabled at the last council meeting until tonight, 7/26/26.
We have not done anything with 06.
Say again?
We have not done anything with 06. So it's currently before us right now on its third reading. So we would need to vote to do something with it. 'Cause
We voted to table it.
I thought we voted to untable
No,
it.
we just voted to table it again. We don't need to vote to untable it. That's what I just discussed.
Well, if it came up today, it's set to be taken off the table today, automatically, if you will, because it was scheduled. And if we took some action on it, tabling it for a date certain, or doing something with it, this was wasn't this a third reading?
This was the third reading.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we have to do something with it.
We don't
Yeah.
have a reading.
Either nothing or table it to a date certain.
We just retabled it.
We untabled it, which technically didn't do anything.
Hang on a second. Let's go back. We have a tabled item till tonight.
Right.
It's brought back from the table because it's in the reading tonight, correct? Ken?
Correct. It's on the
Okay,
table. now.
so when we voted to retable it. We don't have to bring it back off the table.
If that's what the vote was
Yeah.
to take some action.
That was the
on
vote
it,
was to
because
retable.
it's
We
up
can
for
take the vote
action.
again if you're not happy with the vote.
No, if that's what we voted for, that's fine.
Okay.
If we haven't done anything with the resolution, nor do we think that we're going to do anything with the resolution in the foreseeable future, why wouldn't we withdraw resolution 2026-06 and then reintroduce it in appropriate time?
We can.
That way we don't have to worry about tabling and untabling. For
We can,
both-
but it's
for-
table. We don't have to read. It's already on its third reading.
Yeah.
That's why you would do it. You would do it because we don't have to read it 3 times. Now, the next one I might argue would just vote it down.
Right.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Mayor and members of council. I asked for this resolution to be considered by council
Right.
for a reason. It was to provide funding for operations certification.
Correct.
We have a lot of issues at our wastewater treatment plant, and this resolution would provide some flexibility for me if we needed to hire somebody. So, but it could go either way. I just wanted to let you know the history on it. That's why it's there. So I'm sure we'll figure it out, whatever council decides.
We voted to table it. We can bring it off the table. It's already.
It's fine. Leave it on the
Makes
table.
sense.
Yep.
Okay. Resolution number 2026-07, which was tabled from the last council meeting on June 22nd till tonight, 7/27/26. Emergency resolution authorizing the village administrator to pursue community development block grant funding and enter into any agreement related to the same and declaring an emergency. I don't sense that council is in support of this resolution. In which case, we should probably
Yeah. I would make a motion. To
exercise it.
Yes, withdraw resolution 2026-07.
We would just vote it down at this point,
Yep.
right? Ken,
Yes, you can do it either way.
would be a vote to motion
Yep.
to vote on it, and then we'll vote. Okay, do we have a motion to address resolution number 2026-07?
I'll make the motion.
Pete made motion. We have a second.
Jill, second.
Jill second. Michelle, when you're ready.
Zach,
No.
Jill,
So I'm voting to
Voting no, we'll turn it down.
no, thank you. I just want to make sure I've got that right. No, yeah. And I just want to say that we're doing that because of the potential matched funds and all of that.
Right.
There's a lot more, because it seems always odd to not pursue a community grant. So for those who are out there, there's a significant,
Strings attached.
significant things that we have to do as a village if we do this forward, which we're not really prepared to do at this time.
okay, so you voted no,
I
right?
voted no.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Sorry. Pete,
No.
Mike,
No.
and Kathy.
No.
All right, thank you. All right, resolution number 2026-18, our first reading, a resolution to proceed with submission of the question of levying an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of current expenses, ORC 5705-03, 5705-19, ORC 5705-191, and ORC 5705-25, and declaring an emergency. So we should probably discuss what's going on here. This block grant is something that is a millage that the village has been collecting since as far back as we can see, basically, at least back into the 1990s. Every 4 years, the village has to reapprove and put on the ballot this levy. So really what we're addressing here is to put this levy on the ballot this fall so that our residents have a chance to vote on it or against it, right? It's worth it collects about right around $200,000. All right. And I know, Pete, you had some really good ideas about this particular levy and how we might approach using that for the benefit of the village. You want to comment on that?
Yes. So where we are right now is the community is that the bills are being paid, right? However, as the community grows and there are additional concerns, specifically those surrounding public safety, and interest has been shown, especially in this last election cycle, about contracting dedicated law enforcement services. So right now, the way that a village is defined is we are part of the unincorporated part of Delaware County, which means that since we don't have our own law enforcement agency, Delaware County responds to calls for service, and they obviously prioritize those: loss of life, right, physical harm, all the way down to your, business checks, so on and so forth. Taking our direction from the community, we think with the amount of car break-ins that we've had and the amount of through traffic that we have and the amount of pedestrians that we have, we would greatly benefit from having dedicated law enforcement coverage
in the village. So you're forced with two issues. One is create or start a police department, which we could not afford. That would absolutely bankrupt the village. And I don't think that that necessarily is the best business option for us. The other would be to contract with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. You could potentially contract with Sunbury. That's not out of the question. We haven't spoken to them. Because they are contiguous to us. However, there's some jurisdictional issues. So you default back to what's the easiest. We are in Delaware County. Delaware County Sheriff's Office has jurisdiction here. Simply contract with them. When looking at rough estimates of what they charge for other contracted communities, it's somewhere between about $400,000 and $500,000. And what that money gets you is 3 officers around the clock and a cruiser, meaning on first shift, second shift, and third shift, there would be a sheriff's deputy dedicated to Galena, which would probably become an additional district for the sheriff's office. So that means that you have, what we call PARS complaints, so parking issues, speed enforcement, business checks, and then obviously available to respond for calls for service. We do not have that baked into the budget currently. So this levy would get us to about the halfway mark, right? Passing of this levy would now kind of give us the momentum to go out and find the rest of the money in the budget, which we know with, the rooftops that are going up and some of the business opportunities that are coming in is coming in short order, but get ahead of that and start having those conversations and laying the framework for that dedicated police presence in the village. So that's really what this levy is for.
And the millage is there's no increase in this millage. It is just essentially a replacement. Councilman Casuccio chairs our Safety and Security Committee, and this has just been one of the things that's been on our agenda for 2 years now. The question is, how do we surface it to the point where we can actually address it and do something about it? So what we're doing tonight there, and we do have a deadline on this, and we will have to if we want this on the ballot, we're going to have to suspend the rules tonight.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
In the past, we've added language to amendments, or we've added amendments to legislation. First reading. I don't feel like we've had to push those back because of that. Is there, and this would be a question for Ken. I agree with everything Pete just said. I think it's great. I'm in complete support of levying taxes on our neighbors and ourselves to pay for law enforcement. My issue is that it's 4 years. We're not there yet, and it's not stated in the ballot language. That, for me, is hard. So my question is, could we do a special meeting next week, add this language, and then come back and vote it as an emergency next week?
The answer to that is this has to be filed with the Board of Elections 90 days before the election, which I think is next Tuesday. So and this has been, at least I believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, we had this up, a version of this earlier in the year that we did not pass, and simply because we were waiting for later in the year. So none of the numbers have really changed. The millage is the same. The actually, the auditor's statement that they sent us on this is exactly the same as they sent us the last time, as far as the revenue it would generate. So to answer your question, Mike, we'd have to have that meeting Monday night, if my calendar is correct, and then we'd have to get it certified and get it to the Board of Elections before 4 o'clock the next day.
Could we do it on Friday this week, or
Any-
Thursday, or would it have to be next Monday? It has to be a week.
That's up. Anytime you wanted to have a special meeting, you could.
I would be full support of it if we could change that line, current expenses, to law enforcement, public safety, whatever it is that Pete, I would say, would think is the correct language that gets us to that goal for 4 years. Some of us might not even be on council in 4 years, and we might have a new mayor, we might have a whole new council. It's hard to go with trust me for 4 years on current expenses for myself. If I know it's being earmarked specifically only for law enforcement, something that many of you have known me for a long time now, been begging for and discussing with many of you for years. This is great. Just got to have it in language for myself. I've thought about this all afternoon. I've gone back and forth. It's a hard thing for me, and I hope everybody can accept some amount of patience for that process for me, but that's where I'm at.
Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we initially played with the language, because I think that was the first language that was proposed, during the midst of all this, I believe that the ORC was changed and we would have had to done a separate refiling
Right.
if we would have added. So that was kind of where the breakdown was. If we wanted to, for full transparency, initially we were going to let this levy die, right? It was no longer make or break for the village, so we were going to let the levy die. And then internally, a conversation was had saying, hey, if we have this, opportunity to provide something, let's put the earnest back on the community. That way you're kind of in the driver's seat. If you want to, contract with law enforcement services, then we'll put it to a vote, which you guys simply don't have the opportunity to do a lot. So we decided to push forward with keeping the levy in place, but when we were going to make the language change, it would have had to been strike this completely, start over, and we would have missed the filing time frame to get it on the ballot at all. And I get where you're coming from. In a perfect world, I also would like to have it earmarked that way. If I get voted out in 3 years of some change, it carries on. I would say though, as a caveat to that, once you enter into a contract, like any contract, it is a legally binding document. So if we enter into a contract, those usually run somewhere between 3 to 5 years with the sheriff's office. So if somebody were to replace us and they weren't fiscally responsible, they're still going to be on the hook with the sheriff's office for that bill at the end of the year.
And safety and security, if I recall, that was the language we had in the last one, safety and security. And I believe that falls under the umbrella of current expenses. So you're going to be able to use the fund not exclusively for safety and security, but it's one of the it's under the umbrella of that title. So I think it's going to be up to you how you allocate it once you have the money.
Yeah, I had given thought all along that these funds also would go towards potentially another snow plow or something of that nature. I didn't look at this levy being solely for the sheriff or police.
Yeah, I don't believe that was discussed, and I think that this leaves it open for us to have that because $200,000 is a ton of money for this village, and so it would never have been something that I would have supported to die. I would support this as we have for many, many years because it's a real foundational piece of the financial puzzle for this village. So I would vote it in its current state, but without stipulations of exactly where it goes. And I fully support the law enforcement piece, and I think there's a great case to that. We've definitely been trying to do that for a long time, but I think when the time comes, it's something we can discuss it further. I don't think that needs to be described in the resolution. My 2 cents.
All right, I guess where we're at, we're gonna see if there's a motion to suspend the rules in resolution number 2026-18.
I will make that motion.
Jill, motion.
Second.
Kathy, second. Michelle, when you're ready.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Mike.
No.
Okay, so Pete, we can huddle after this to see if
Yep.
there's a special meeting in front of us there. All right, next up, ordinance number 2026-08 is the third reading emergency, an ordinance ratifying a school compensation agreement between the Village of Galena and Big Walnut School District regarding a development known as the Arrowhead Golf Course in the Village of Galena and declaring an emergency. The school board passed this on their side on last week. And I just wanted to read a little note that we got from Scott Gooding, the treasurer of our schools. And in working with Ryan McLean, the superintendent, and Pete and I really kind of spearheading this discussion with the schools, I just thought I'd want to enter this into the record. It says, Mayor Kennel, on behalf of Big Walnut School District, I would like to express our sincere appreciation for the collaboration, professionalism, an open dialogue throughout the discussions regarding the proposed Arrowhead development and associated tax increment financing project. We are grateful for the respectful exchange of ideas and proposals during this process. While the district and village each have important interests to represent, the discussions have consistently been constructive and focused on finding a mutually beneficial path forward. We appreciate the village's willingness to engage in meaningful conversations regarding the educational impacts of residential development and the importance of providing adequate resources to support the students who may reside within the project. After reviewing the village's most recent revisions to the school compensation agreement, we are agreeable to the recommended changes and appreciate the efforts made to reach common ground. Thank you again for your partnership and commitment to maintaining a positive working relationship throughout this process. We look forward to continuing our collaboration as the project moves forward. And I would just like to say on public record, I appreciate Brian McLean, Superintendent McLean, and Scott Gooding and all they did to help facilitate these discussions to the point where we're third reading tonight on something very special, the type of agreement the schools have never made with another municipality or township. And I'm thrilled to bring this to council tonight. Thank you, Pete, for your leadership on that too.
So as a point of personal privilege too, for anybody who's listening or anybody who's here, oftentimes funding our schools, what that looks like, and when you're a growing community, the impact that that's going to have is a very sensitive subject. So, the mayor and I walked into these conversations not knowing how receptive the school is going to be. So you're working at the time when these conversations started, there was talk in the state house about property tax elimination, which essentially eviscerates funding for public schools. And then also tethered to that was Chief Kovach and crew up at BTSG, because they would have taken a big hit on their funding as well. So we went into it with a mindset of how can we make this equitable for all parties involved? We know that there is a segment of our community who don't have any kids in Big Walnut School or no longer have children in Big Walnut School system. So it would be kind of unfair to kind of continue to spread around, especially when we're getting ready to break ground on a development that probably is going to have a lot of kids in it, right? Just like every other development. My development's like that. I think you have to be over the age of 30 and have at least 3 kids to even buy a house in my neighborhood, which is wild with all those little people running around. So at the conclusion of it, after a couple meetings, essentially what we decided, it is kind of groundbreaking, and it was something that I would like to see Galena continue to do and implore the other, townships and communities that are in Big Walnut schools to do as well, where we've essentially entered into a program to where the residents of that new development are going to pay for those students, right? So it's not going to be shared throughout the entire community. If you have kids in that district, you are going to shoulder that weight. And what that does is as houses go up and down, it's going to allow Big Walnut to always have the resources that they need real time, and then also allow all of you to not experience kind of the pressure points that go along with it. So it's kind of an outside the box agreement, and I'm glad we got it done.
In that particular subdivision.
In that particular subdivision, yeah.
So essentially, when we do, you'll see following this agreement, we'll start the process of the TIF agreement. Because we have the school's support, we'll be able to move forward on a TIF. That TIF will allow us to redirect dollars to our infrastructure, which is badly needed. And that community's TIF will pay per student.
Which is
Right,
very exciting.
that are in the school system. Pretty unique and pretty interesting. Right. All right. So do we have a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-08?
I'll make the motion.
Pete motion,
I will second.
Jill second.
And thanks to both of you again, because that truly was very creative. Exciting.
Ready.
Okay. Zach,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
Thank you all. All right. Also, we have, with Councilwoman Doucette's help and leadership, we've been working with Harlem Township for well over a year now to construct and kind of develop a partnership between our community and their community. It's mutually beneficial. Tonight's our first reading for that. Anyone that would like to learn more about it, there's a FAQ out on our website. The contract is posted on the website. We will have an open hearing right here in this room, along with the Harlan Township trustees, to answer any questions and kind of address the partnership. Okay, so invite you all back for that. This relationship establishes a kind of a win-win. Harlem's interested in maintaining the integrity of their borders. The village is interested in growing our revenues without growing the size of our village. We'd like to stay a village. So this accomplishes both. So with a non-annexation agreement with Harlem, we share some of our services, and they share the growth that comes from the parcels that are developed over time. It's a 50-year agreement. And it reads, ordinance number 2026-10, first reading. An ordinance ratifying a cooperative economic development agreement, a CEDA, by and between the Village of Galena, Delaware County, Ohio, and Harlem Township, Delaware County, Ohio, according to the provisions of Ohio Revised Code 701-07. Any questions from council on this?
Less of a question and more of a statement. So, you hear all these acronyms get thrown around. CEDAs are important. One of the biggest things that I think that the residents of Galena are interested in and passionate about is maintaining the feel of Galena. Nobody moved to the village of Galena to live in the city of Galena, right? So we have the ability with a gold star rated sewage plant that we can offer utilities. We could go out and go on a very aggressive land campaign with our neighbors. We could, simply put. That's not necessarily the correct way of doing business. And in my personal opinion, good decorum. You want everybody to be able to maintain their identity. So this is a great opportunity to share revenue and allow each community to be in the driver's seat, and then really slow down what projects look like and not be forced into it. By saying that, what I mean is usually if you don't have these cooperative agreements and annexation is on the table, it becomes if I don't build it, they will, right? I really don't want these apartments in my backyard. However, if I don't build them, somebody else is just going to annex them and do it anyway, so I might as well just cave. This allows the conversation to slow down, knowing that you are not in risk of losing that part of your community, and get the project right, which when you're done correctly actually allows our communities to stay nice and be sustainable longer. And then it also is some revenue sharing back to the village, which we desperately could use for some of the other projects we want to do.
It's really all about the utilities, and the fact that we have the commodity of a wastewater treatment plant is everything when it comes to development. If you don't have that, you can't develop. And so it is something that allows us and to share in with Harlem more controls.
Thank you. Moving on, ordinance number 2026-11, first reading emergency. An ordinance specifying the municipal services to be rendered to the following described property upon annexation to the village of Galena, such premises commonly known as the Diebold Farm, situated on Trenton Road, consisting of 57 plus acres, more or less, being fully described in the Delaware County Auditor's information parcel numbers, which are 4174400200600 and parcel 417440020080001 and parcel 417440020070001 and declaring an emergency. We have an obligation according to Ohio State Code. The fact that the developer has issued their annexation, we have 20 days to respond by approving this. So this will need to be moved along tonight. Ken, do you want to back me up on that, or anything to say about that?
Yes, this is the type of annexation that almost all of them are now, with wherein their property that is annexed stays part of the township. And because of that, in this particular instance, the state has passed a law that says if you're going to take that kind of annexation in or consider it, you should go ahead and make sure that there is a statement of the municipal services you will provide to this property once it's annexed. Now, the problem with the way they adopted it is they didn't give us a lot of time. In other words, if they were to file it on the first of the month, between the 1st and the 21st, we'd have to adopt this legislation. And we wouldn't have a meeting typically until the last Monday of the month. So we try to do what we can to coordinate with developers. And in this case, we have done so, and you have some others the same way, to make sure that they know they have to check with us on their date of filing, not whether they're going to file or not. It's just when, so we can go ahead and get this legislation passed and honor what the code says. That makes sense to everybody?
I think it's clear to mention this is not approving any development. It's simply approving a land
True.
share.
True.
And we would have the sewer, back to that, to provide for them should that project be approved sometime down the line.
Yeah, it's a pre-annexation agreement, and we're just basically fulfilling the process for the pre-annexation agreement.
Who's the developer? I heard there was a developer mentioned.
Say again?
Who's the developer?
Miranda.
Miranda Homes right now. They have not come forward with a development plan or any kind of application to zoning, so we're very early in the process. So do we have a motion to suspend the rules, ordinance number 2026-11?
So moved.
Jill, do you have a second?
I'll second.
Zach? Michelle, when you're ready.
Pete,
No.
Mike,
No.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
and Joe.
No one no on this one.
All right. Other business. Kathy, you want to talk about the Walnut Creek Bridge?
I do. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Walnut Creek. We had a bridge that connected Harrison to our development over by Vans Valley, Joe Walker, that area. And it had to be shut down for safety purposes. These guys were great in finding the funding and the right contractor. And we just had ribbon cutting about 2 weeks ago. So what I'd like to take a moment and say that this project represents another important investment in the safety and infrastructure of our community. I'd especially like to recognize our Chief Administration Officer, Tom Marshall, whose leadership was instrumental in making this project a reality. Tom worked diligently with the contractor to negotiate a cost that was affordable for the village while keeping the project moving forward. His dedication, persistence, commitment to our residents were key in getting the bridge completed. On behalf of the village of Galena, thank you, Tom, and thanks to everyone who played a role in this successful project. We did then say, now let's celebrate, and all the kids went riding across the bridge, but but yes, thank you. And you know, it was hit or miss whether we could afford it or not, but we kept working with the contractor. This is the kind of money that we have, and this is what needs to be done. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. We have a great team, and I think it was a team effort, so appreciate that a lot.
It really was, and thank you to staff and Tom for leading all of that. That's fantastic. We got that done. Only other thing I just want to mention, Mr. Casuccio, and I didn't get a chance to do this because we both missed the June 22nd meeting. But Mr. Casuccio was promoted to Sergeant, Columbus Police Department here recently, so I just want to acknowledge that and congratulate you on that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Any other business from anyone on the table? All right. Any reason to go to executive session? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Mike, motion. Have a second?
I'll second.
Zach second. All in favor of
Aye.
adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, we're adjourned at 6:54 PM. Fort Miranda.